goodness. I just had a nap. For 4 hours, man. Do you know how long that is? 4 hours. It's like a long time. Alright, so we finished part 1 and we're on to part 2. So, stretching. Give me your power. This is the time where I give you the question you should be asking your interviewer. So as much as an interview is a two-way exchange, they're trying to learn about you and you need to be trying to learn about them as well. So these are my 6 questions that you should be going towards. It's basically my 6 questions that I ask all the time. And so yeah, we'll jump right into it. So the first thing you should ask about how he is as a mentor, his ideals, and how he wants to remodel the physio world. How he wants to impose his ideals clinically. Really, that puts into perspective how he thinks about himself. For me, when I ask that question, I want a mentor who is, I want him to be confident in his own mentorship and what he can offer to me and how I can grow. So he might say that he's got XYZ clinical skills, but is he a douchebag about it? And that's really important to know. I mean, I don't know if people care about whether they're working for a douchebag, but I do. And I don't want to be in a spot where this guy's just a prick, he doesn't really care about you, but he wants to nurture you and he wants to cultivate your skills as a physiotherapist. Also ask about his ideals. I mean, this is something that you can see based off the company statement, but if he has the same ideals as you, then it's more easy to get along. It's more easy to be like, I don't want to just be a physio that massages people. I don't want to be a glorified masseuse. And so you guys can bounce off that, bounce ideas. You want to put yourself in a situation where you want to bounce ideas, bounce humor, bounce conversation as much as possible. And just having these things makes it readily more easier for you to fit into this practice. In my experience, there are people who are in there for the business or in there to really impose their ideals and to really drive for rehabilitation, to show that physio is about rehabilitation and rehabilitation only. So yeah, ask the mentor what ideals he has and how he is as a mentor, because you gotta know who you're following. If he's a douchebag, you're gonna be a douchebag as well. If he's like hectic, super charismatic, then in the end you're probably gonna take some off him. You're a leech basically. As a new grad, you're gonna be a sponge and you're gonna just sponge up whatever. If your boss thinks that ultrasound and heat pack and interferentials are like the most amazing thing in the whole world, then I'd say 8 times out of 10 you're gonna believe that one day as well. Another question you gotta ask about, and this will throw them off like boom, and then they're knocked out. Ask about how you can further your professional, personal, and business development. A lot of interviewers will not have an answer for this. They won't. They just won't think that far. And for you to ask that question, they're gonna be like, okay, this guy's like Confucius. What? But ask it, because professionally you want to grow. So your mentor has a pool of skills that he uses for every patient. That is eventually going to be our toolbox for the rest of our lives. And I've been told that in the first 2 to 3 years is where we gain 90% of our tools and 90% of our methods of treating everyone that comes into the door. And you want to make sure that he knows his stuff and he's able to use everything that he knows and impart all his knowledge onto you. The second thing is personal development. So I say this because I think it's good to show interest in how you want to grow personally. It's also, the interviewer will also say, this guy is also thinking about things outside the professional sphere, and he's going to like you for that because it shows that you want to grow. I can think of some personal skills right now. Interpersonal skills, how you communicate to other people, how you work in a team, and how you can educate people. Those are the personal skills that physios would be looking for. If you have an interest in these things, you're already one step ahead of everyone who doesn't show they have interest in these things. And that's something that you should talk about as well, that you want to further how people see you. You want to be as charismatic as your mentor. And you can say that just to scratch his back. I want to be as good as you. I've seen these interpersonal skills in you just by talking to you. and I want to be like that. How do I be like that? He's going to like you for that because you're complimenting him as well as you're showing him how you want to grow as well. The third thing is business development. And some physios will like it if you show this interest in business development because essentially private practices are a business. There's no denying that. And if you have a business development and you're interested in how they can bring out more clinics, and you're interested in the hiring process, and you're interested in how the money flows within a practice, they're going to be more readily able to see you as a bigger asset than just a physiotherapist. The next question I love to ask, because it just throws everyone off, is why do his employers want to work for the big physio? And this works best in a 2-on-1 interview where you have the senior physiotherapist and the general manager. Why does the general manager want to work for the physiotherapist? What work satisfaction does this clinic have more than other places? That's going to show that you care about where you work. That's also going to burn interview time, which is sweet. I don't want to stay there forever. I don't want to be talking forever. And by giving them the ball for them to talk, it's just going to create a more friendly environment to show that, I'm interested. I'm generally interested in why you want to work here. And you're going to vibe off each other a lot better. The other things that you want to go through, and I'm just going to go through this very quickly, is ask about the terms of your employment. Are you on a full-time? Are you part-time, temporary, permanent contracts? How long they're expecting you to commit to this business. You want to ask about continuous professional development, and because that's going to affect your accreditation. And the last thing that you shouldn't be afraid to ask about is money, your base pay. Are they paying you less than the New South Wales Award? Are they paying you more than the New South Wales Award? Are they paying you commission work? In the sense that you're only earning a percentage of what the practice earns. And yeah, you genuinely want to get to the bottom of it. And if they give you a good price, then sweet. It also shows that you're not scared to ask about these questions. It is a daunting question because in the end, it's straight up dogfight when you ask about base pay because you want the high dollar and they want to give you less. Private practices are like that. Asian private practice, oh my goodness, you're stuffed. But yeah, I'm gonna ask those questions. Don't be scared about asking that question. It is gonna be slightly uncomfortable, but if both of you are professional, then it should be a fine question. Before you go, I'm also gonna go through a quick list of what the hiring process looks like. You're gonna have the interview, you're gonna have the clinical interview. Once they're happy with you clinically, they're gonna write up a contract, and then finally, you're gonna organize your work cover number, APRA number, APRA registration should be in process, and your indemnity insurance. If there's another thing I wanna add in, the clinical interview is basically, I've had a few clinical interviews. Most likely it's going to be a role play situation where you just role play with the boss. He's got a non-specific back pain injury, or he's got some sort of shoulder arc that you need to go through, do your shoulder assessments. Take it chill. Don't stress, take it chill. I've seen other places that make you shadow your senior therapist for a day and you're just writing notes. If they're a good practice, they'll understand that you're a new grad and you have so much space to grow. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you actually learned something. Hope you've expanded, how you conduct yourself in an interview. Hope you've got a bit more questions under your belt, and hopefully one day you're able to use these questions and get the job. All right, so that brings us to the end of the video. I don't want to say it. Like and subscribe. Okay, bye.